Provided it 6 minutes in. Mavadidi's delivery from the left. Ayew turning to shoot neatly in front of those Leicester City fans. Looked as though Leicester would go in at the break with that goal advantage. Seeing Liverpool hit the post and the bar, we saw a great Premier League debut from Jakub Stolacic, but they did score in injury time at the end of the first half. A right-footed stunner from Cody Gakpo right after the break. Liverpool back in front with with Curtis Jones, and then we saw Mo Salah on the score sheets into the final 10 minutes of the game. A left-footed curling effort at the Anfield Road end of the ground. It's Liverpool who celebrate. They are Christmas #1, but positives for Leicester despite defeat, as the Leicester players go and applaud the travelling supporters, and that applause is returned to the team in blue. Full time here at Anfield. Liverpool 3, Leicester 1.
Thank you very much, John. Yes, welcome back to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub with me, Dan Bates. David Nugent and Matt Elliott are alongside me in the studio as we dissect that 3-1 defeat for the Foxes at Anfield. A valiant performance. Had it maybe been 1-0 at half-time, things could have slightly been indifferent. We don't know, do we? But that was maybe the key moment. How did you both see the 90 minutes?
I thought the second half was a lot tougher than the first. You know, we didn't really lay glove in the second half, did we? It looks like we set our stall out to hang on for the draw, and we're trying to wait for them counter-attacks, but none of them came in the second half. You know, Liverpool dominated it, deservedly got the 2 goals to win the game. But yeah, it's no shame going to Anfield. You know, we scored a goal, we played well in the first half. Second half, just you can see that mentally we were drained from defending for all that 45 minutes. But yeah, it was frustrating to watch the second half, you know, considering how good we were in the first.
Well, we mentioned it at half-time, but it's always going to be the case. It's a job reasonably well done first half, but completing the job and seeing it out is always a difficult bit, and certainly proved the case tonight, didn't it? You know, you feared the worst going into the second half. You know what Liverpool are capable of. They're relentless, aren't they, if they need to be. I think Leicester I don't know, it's difficult because you set your stall out in the first half and then you get interrupted and you almost don't want that flow to stop, really, because it gives you time to sort of think about things yourself, and it gives the opposition time to sort of address the situation and think, right, what do we need to do to improve on that first half performance? And Liverpool upped it a bit, and it was like Leicester were waiting for the inevitable. Like, we know this is coming, we're sitting and waiting for it, and we're sort of panicking a bit, rather than carrying on with the game that they played in the first half, which served them quite well.
Yeah, Jerry, do you agree with both David then and Matt, particularly in that second half there?
Yeah, I think, obviously starting the second half the way Leicester did just didn't help their cause. And, once Liverpool got their noses in front, you could just see, I'm not saying they were lacking in confidence, Liverpool, but you could just see, especially like when you're looking at Van Dijk and the likes of those players, that, okay, they've got their noses in front. I'm not saying they thought job done, but you sort of knew that there was an ability about the second half and how it was going to go after that early goal. But I mean, the first half performance was excellent from Leicester. I'm not saying they didn't try, it's just the timing of that goal being conceded in the second half and Liverpool getting their noses in front. It was always going to be a massive task just to try and get anything from this game. So yeah, it was always going to be difficult then.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, again, Jerry, it's difficult, I guess, not to. You probably shouldn't, but if Liverpool don't score that goal right on the stroke of half-time, you don't know how different the game could have been.
Yeah, Dan, we spoke about the conceding of goals all season, and it comes from Leicester giving away possession deep in Liverpool territory. And yes, they've got to go to the other end of the pitch, but Liverpool are capable of doing that. To boot, there was, that challenge from James Justin where he dives in. That Gakpo wants to cut back inside on his right foot. He's been doing it all night. So try and just instead of trying to win that first contact, just try and make it a bit more difficult when he does cut back inside. But once he's free adjusting, like, it's a great finish. You know, the keeper's no chance whatsoever. It is a great finish, but again, we're just talking about decision making in big moments in the game. The clock's about to run down to half time. If you can't create something, just run to the corner flag or play it off one of the Liverpool defenders and try and get a corner or a throw in. That's the first point. And then on obviously the second point, don't be diving in on the edge of your box. That's one of the things you're taught as a young defender. You know, stand up on your feet, don't be diving in, don't make it easy for the opposition. Unfortunately for James, he just made that decision to go and dive in, and Gakpo, we know, is a good player. He just sidesteps it, and then, you know, a moment of brilliance. But a really good first half performance, I have to say. Other than that,
yeah. Sorry, Jerry. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I guess
I do waffle on a bit.
I guess
going, mate.
They can take that confidence then from the first half performance, Matt, can't they, into the next game, whether it's City in 3 days' time or Villa after that. They'll say, look how well we played in the first half at Anfield against the team that are top of the league.
To a degree, I think I know exactly what you're saying, and we've got to take positives out of this, of course, and certain aspects of it certainly. But you play a different way, don't you, away at Anfield than you do, let's say, or maybe you don't actually, at home against Man City, but at home against other opponents. You like to have a bit more of the ball, a bit more control. But you know what you're up against from the start. And it couldn't have gone any better, really, no, up until conceding the goal. Because you can't dream for the impossible, really, because going up at Anfield, we know the challenge that brings, and they did as well as you could possibly hope for, really, all things considered at this stage of the season where the clubs are at the moment. And it was quite pleasing in that front. But as we said and we warned against, it's over the duration of ultimately the whole season, but in tonight's instance, the game itself is 90 plus minutes, and it was going to get harder the longer the game went on. And so that proved, that the difference between the two teams was evident. It was evident in the first half, even when Leicester were winning. But Leicester were doing an excellent job and making a good fist of things. But little points to pick up on. I mean, like Jerry's just mentioned there, little lapses of concentration have such a big impact there. Because if they kept the ball, it's not only losing the ball; it's inevitable that you lose the ball. Not multiple times throughout a game, but it's how you're set up when you lose that ball, which often kills you. And in that instance, it was one end right to the other, and Leicester was stretched a bit. When they were back in shape, they didn't look in too much trouble, did they, more often than not? So, that would be disappointing, given the ball weight needlessly. But, little bits and pieces. I think that on the negative side, I think the fact that it was literally walking pace for Liverpool. Once they took the lead, the game was done and dusted. You look at it.
Daka had that chance, didn't he?
Yeah.
2-1.
Yeah. Listen, he should have been a bit more controlled on that. Nudes tell you better than me, but I mean, for me, that's just get some sort of contact on it. Don't go wild and looking for the top corner, like Ayew did a little bit with the goal, got a bit of fortune, but just get a contact on it, be measured, and watch the ball onto your foot. But yeah, that was a little bit loose. But the fact that Leicester only had one shot on goal, they didn't really threaten enough. And it wasn't through lack of willing. I think they just, in the end, they were like, right, it's not going to be our night. The third goal, okay, fair enough. Even at the second. But I would have liked to have seen Liverpool tested a little bit more, even in extra time. You never know. You could pinch 2 goals, like freakishly. Get one and then something ridiculous happens. But Liverpool were totally unopposed, second, in the latter stage of the game. But I know it's hard work. It's hard work. Don't get me wrong. It's quality outfit, but they were only in second or third gear, Liverpool, in truth. But you've got to grab onto what you can. You've got to make the best of it. So it's only Man City next. So there you go.
Right. Well, they're rubbish at the minute, aren't they? No, I think first half positives were brilliant. We did what we had to do with a team battling relegation. We defended the box well, defended the cross as well.
After the weekend, in reaction to the weekend's performance, that was
you take
good
that.
to see.
It was good. There was some good defending in that first half. Just that moment of just lack of concentration right at the end of the first half. And you said earlier, obviously if they didn't score, the game could have been a lot different, but them getting that goal, but the tails are coming out for the second half.
And then obviously getting that second so early in the second half as well. But I guess, Jerry, and both of these guys have just made that point that it was about how they reacted to what happened on Sunday, which was really bad, wasn't it, against Wolves? And they've come out and they have reacted this evening. Okay, they've not got the win, but they can be proud of particularly that first half performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I said just before kick-off that for me, tonight was all about the performance and the reaction to the last two games. And so we've seen that. And then if anything else happened after that tonight, the reality is it was going to be a bit of a bonus. And we all thought, when Leicester took the lead, we've got a chance here. But the reality is that Liverpool showed why they're top of the league. I mean, they're a very, very good team. They've got some great footballers in the team. And at times they were just relentless. Leicester could just, the pressure that they had in the first half as well as the second half. It's very, very difficult to come here and try and, keep that kind of pressure at bay. And that was the difference in the end. But the reaction was there. At times they looked really solid defensively. And although Liverpool had bags and bags of pressure and were raining crosses in and little give and goes and all that, Leicester, especially in the first half, looked to be dealing with that quite comfortably.
Yeah, again, sort of repeating the point. I think it was a positive that Leicester didn't sort of meekly surrender the 3 points tonight, like they did on Saturday. Because that would have been damaging for all sorts of reasons. I think
Liverpool were definitely worried at maybe 40 minutes in. You could sense that there was frustration coming from the crowd, wasn't there?
Yeah, even for a side like Liverpool, there's concern, isn't there? There's no guarantee that they're going to get themselves back on track. The likelihood was that they would, but it wasn't inevitable. And, you never quite know sometimes. And well done to Leicester for actually, having the sort of thrust about the game. To go and try and take the game towards Liverpool as and when it was fitting. But eventually we know how it happened. But they didn't capitulate. They hadn't caved in from the start. It wasn't done and dusted from the off, was it? And I think that was quite important. Really, they can hold on to certain moments, certain aspects of the game. And I think Van Nistelrooy will accentuate those points. Really, I don't think you can overcook it and say, this is a blueprint of what we're looking for, far from it. But there were certain points that Leicester are going to need going forward, particularly in that first 45.
Well, I think that the defensive part of it is probably the bit that they'll look at the most, and even Stolarczyk and goals, brilliant. We can come on to
They didn't hand it on the plate to Liverpool,
No.
did they? Liverpool had to work for it.
And if there's going to be crosses coming in the box on Sunday against Man City like they were today, they'll be confident they can deal with them like they did today.
Yeah, I think defenders, that's their basic way of defending is you defend crosses into the box. That's the bread and butter. Where the ball generally is going to go. It's just the little slide balls down the side, which I think we struggle with a bit. But again, I think they were solid. Liverpool had to work for their win today. We didn't give them 3 goals like we did against Wolves. Didn't give the goals like we did against Newcastle. Liverpool had to work, some good play to get these goals against Leicester tonight. And I think the defenders, especially the first half, could be proud of the way they played, and that's what they need to do now going into the Man City game.
And especially for that Man City game, Jerry. I mean, Nuge joked about it a minute ago, but they are really out of form at the moment. So potentially, it's not the Man City that we've become accustomed to in the last however many years.
Yeah, I mean, another disappointing result by their standards today. So they will be coming into the game on the 29th, buzzing, that is for sure. So Leicester have to try and take as much of the good stuff out of tonight and bring it into that game against Man City, because they're obviously not firing on all cylinders. I mean, I think I heard somewhere today that is it 5 points out of 40 something like that.
I think it's 1 win in 13.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, by their standards, that is not good by any stretch of the imagination. So there's no reason. I'm not saying there's no reason, to go into that game and think that it's a foregone conclusion. By no stretch of the imagination, Leicester will have a chance, but they've got to believe that they have a chance, and then go and show it and go and replicate. The performances of the first 2 games, and especially in the first half tonight.
Yeah, it's a good point that Jerry makes, isn't it, Matt? And I guess from a Leicester supporter point of view and a Leicester player point of view, it's the same thing. Everyone's looking at what's happening with Man City and thinking, wow, okay, we can get something from this game.
Mm. I think other teams are picking up on it, aren't they? Like the likes of, say, Everton today. Obviously, I haven't seen the full game, but seen the highlights, and they weren't. I don't think Man City laid siege to Everton, and they've just fluked it to a degree. They were.
Well, they could have won it, Everton themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, competitive in the game. So I think Leicester should try and capitalise on that as best they can. Be strong-minded themselves. Man City are quite clearly having a wobble, quite clearly having a bout of lack of confidence, really, aren't they? Strange as that seems to say, but it's not working for them, and they're looking around and they're asking questions of each other, and they're not coming up with any answers right now. And I think the crowd will be important as well at the weekend. That despite 3 negative results on the trot now, conceding heavily in all 3, but coming to that game against King Power against Man City, it's got to be forgotten. It's an opportunity to put off a massive result, isn't it? And one to sort of stick in the memory, albeit against a Man City team that are not firing on all cylinders. But the opportunity is there. Yeah. Opportunity is there really to everyone get fired up and see what occurs.
Absolutely. If you're not coming to King Power Stadium, of course, on Sunday for that game against Man City, then you can follow all the action as ever with us on Fox's Hub. Our Matchday Live show will start from 1:30 for a quite unusual kickoff time on Sunday, that 2:30. So do join us for that. Then we'll roll into the new year with a trip to Aston Villa again. Live and available for you on Matchday Live. That will be a 3 o'clock kickoff again a week on Saturday. So again, join us for that. Big thank you to Jerry Taggart for making that trip to Anfield. Thanks to Matt and David Nugent for their company with us this evening. I hope you all, like I said, had a fantastic day yesterday. Continue the celebrations as much as you can, despite the result this evening. But it has finished at Anfield. Liverpool 3, Leicester City 1.